biological male, has just become the first transgender person to win a world title in cycling.
First transgender weightlifter winning her maiden international event as a woman.
A biological male winning a gold medal in a women's event now seems a matter of when.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Before we get started, I would not be talking about all women, even though it feels like it. And if it feels like I'm talking about you, you need to check yourself, because I only talk about bad women that do bad things to good guys. And I teach the good guys how to spot the bad women. But you also got to understand, words only hurt whenever they're true. If you're looking for the music to the intro and you want the link to the second channel, both are below in the description. But can you do me a favor? Go ahead and hit the notifications button right now. All right, guys, today I'm going to be talking about a subject I've never talked about. Well, let me take that back. I have talked about this subject, but it has been a couple years since I have touched base with this subject. And it's going to be when women want to compete with men, not just in sports, but in life in general. That's what this video is going to be about. And if you looked at the opening video and you look at the introduction, you see that there are a lot of guys that when they get into women's sports, they actually dominate the sport. It has yet to be a sport that a woman has joined and has dominated a man. Now, the trickery about this is that you have sports that women can play that they want to also do as men, like lingerie football. Lingerie football allows a woman to wear lingerie and they can run around and play the same game as guys, and they can tackle each other while looking sexy at the same time. You have girls out there that have accepted that, but then you have another level of women who just says, no matter what a man can do, I can do it. All right, and today we're gonna be breaking down, why do a woman think like that?
Not if.
Since sports events began, men and women have been segregated by gender to make the competitive events fairer due to differences in muscle mass, innate strength, or testosterone levels.
First, you have to understand this about women. Women are taught that they have been oppressed, right? What does that mean? That means that they've been taught that men have held them back from becoming the best version of a woman and being able to spread her wings and compete with a man and be equal to a man, because they've been taught that they have been oppressed. What women aren't understanding is that men understand you the same way you understand them, but men also understand that you may not be as strong enough to do the same thing as a man, which is why our bloodline is different, which is why our muscle structure is different. Men were bred to be a certain way and women were bred to be a certain way. Women are stronger at things that guys are not stronger at. Like, for instance, giving birth to a baby. A woman can give birth to a baby, a man can't. But a man can play football. A man can lift heavy things. A man can do a lot of things that a woman can't do physically, because he dominates in that era while she dominates at giving birth, while she dominates at being structured. Women are way more structured than men, but men are structured in their own way, but women could be neater than guys and more organized than men, which is why they make great secretaries, which is why they make great helpmates. But when it comes to being a leader like a man, a woman has too many emotions to be a leader like a man, because it's hard for her to think logically. So with women being taught that they are oppressed, one of the things that make them want to compete with men is to the fact that they have something to prove. All right? They have something to prove because they taught, hey, you wasn't allowed to do this. You wasn't allowed to do that.
But nowadays, these physical differences no longer seem to be a determining factor.
There are all kinds of reasons that people have advantages. Somebody's parents can give them year-round training. Somebody else is really, really tall and someone's really, really short.
Sport has never been fair. You bought into that myth.
He's absolutely right. One thing that you have to understand about sports, even with men and women competing with each other, it's never an even level playing field. No matter what. Women have been bought into it. They've been taught, yes, you can run as fast as a man. Show us you can run as fast as a man. You have to find a weaker man or a younger man to outdo. Show us you can play football. Everything that a man gets in, With a woman's sport, he dominates in a woman's sport. There has yet to be a woman who has dominated a man. Let me take that back. You do have a small percentage of women that play basketball better than a man, but she's not going to play basketball better than majority of the men. She may be able to play basketball better than a lot of men, but the amount of women that could do that is very slim to none. If we're talking about equal rights, we can't count the 3 out of a million that can actually do things that compete with men, because a lot of those women who can compete with men are not even looked at as a woman amongst other women.
So for a lot of other people, but let's face it, if I wanted to be a jockey, I couldn't be. Nature endows her gifts unevenly in society.
It's true that some physical characteristics give athletes an unusual advantage in sports, like Michael Phelps's long arms or Usain Bolt's height.
Women would never be able to catch up with men in any sport whatsoever because we already have the advantage. The sports are designed around the highest level of men. You may have 5,000 college students that are going to play football, but only a couple will get drafted to go to the bigger leagues. That's what women are not understanding, is that a lot of women's sports are stuck at high school level. When I say high school level, they're stuck at the level that adult sports, they can compete with a high school man. But you can't take like a woman from the WNBA and put her in competition with a guy in the NBA, even though she may be equal to height. It shows those women can't even compete even in the WNBA. There's nothing that a woman is competing with men with, not even swimming, not track, not anything. Why? Because sports were already designed around the most athletic man.
But the genetic difference of being born as a male or female and competing with the opposite gender proved to be more of a determining factor than any bodily developments in sport.
If you go through puberty, you have all the benefits of having a male body. And even if you transition and reduce your testosterone, you're still going to have those benefits. You're going to have the bone structure, the slightly bigger heart, more red blood cells. So therefore, a female athlete competing against a transgender female is always going to be at a disadvantage.
Testosterone levels.
And she's absolutely right. What you have to understand is, in order for women to be able to play sports with a man, they would actually have to change the rules to the game completely. But if they go to change the rules to the game completely, it would be less competitive, which means less people are going to watch. You have to understand, most women want to compete with a man in sports that play the same sports so they can get the attention. They're fully aware that more people are going to watch men football. More people are going to watch men basketball because it's more competitive. If they was to change the way the structure of the game is played, less people are going to watch and less exciting it's going to be, which is why when it comes to women's sports now, less people watch. Except for me, I like watching football and I like watching volleyball, and I like watching softball. I think those girls have the best bodies. But when it comes to men and women in sports, we would never be equal, even though women want to be equal, but we would have to change the structure of the game. But the structure of the game is already designed around the most athletic men. Hopefully you guys are able to get the message behind this when it comes to men and women in sports and men and women competing with each other. One thing that I want to say is, this time is almost over with. All right, women are going to be very humbled here in these next couple of years. Trust me, it's about to get real. This is Anthony Spade. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. Hasta la vista.